Hi everyone, I'm Rotaract Deumin Pereira from NSBM Green University with Road to A+. I'm in charge of doing grade 10 science for y'all. So welcome to one of most interesting subjects in the world. So don't be panic with the word science. Science is a really easy subject and y'all can easily get through this, right? So let me share my screen first and let's go through the content. So I hope you all can see my screen. So today I'm gonna do you the first lesson of your syllabus, chemical basis of life, and carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids. I thought of doing only after nucleic acids because I thought it is too long to do up to vitamins. So yeah, let's go through the presentation. I made y'all a presentation. This is it. So chemical basis of life. I included all the special important points in my presentation. Then I thought it will be easy for y'all. So yeah, let's go through this. So you all know all the living organisms, including us, we have made up of different types of components and elements, right? So all the organisms and the living components are composed of different chemicals, including us. So all these chemicals and compounds are existing around us, and there are 92 elements present in the nature. But living body consists of only 25 elements out of that. And these elements present in different locations and they present in different forms inside our living body. These are very simple things for y'all. So hope you all can understand very easily. And there are most common elements in the living body. There are 4: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. So in your textbook, these things are in mass basis. So you all can refer into that. And there are elements other than these 4 main components. They are also essential for the living. They are sulfur, sodium, potassium, phosphorus, calcium, iodine, iron, sodium, and chlorine. In your textbook, there's a grid of extra knowledge. You all can refer into that. They have mentioned the percentages and the locations where these elements are present. And here, I hope you all can see like I have made up a chart for this, not a chart actually. This is a small trick for y'all to remember all these elements, including the main components. So the main elements are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. I have highlighted that. And these are the rest of the elements, which is here. So this is a small trick. You can pronounce this as chop, Kins, Cafe, Meg, and NaCl. Again, chop, Kins, Cafe, Meg, NaCl. Right? So that is how you have to pronounce it, and you all can remember this trick very easily. Right? It's not very hard. You all have to remember NaCl anyway separately. Na means sodium, Cl means chlorine. So you all have to remember that those two separately, but this you can pronounce it as chop, Kins, Cafe, Meg, NaCl. Right? Hope you all understood that. Then chemical compounds. Now you all know we all consist of different types of chemicals, and here we go. Chemical compounds we can divide into 2 parts: organic compound and inorganic compound. Organic compounds contain carbon and inorganic compounds do not contain carbon. Contain carbon, organic compounds are carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, and then vitamins. So in this lesson, you all have to learn carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids in the main terms, and also about vitamins in the latter part of your lesson. So inorganic compounds means do not contain carbon, that is water, minerals, and gases. And also there are some exceptions in carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, carbonate, bicarbonate. Like even when y'all reading these terms, y'all can see they contain carbon in their terms. So even if they have carbon in their terms, they considered as inorganic compounds, right? There's no point of questioning why. Y'all maybe ask this in your MCQs, so they're really important. You better memorize all these. These are the exceptions: carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, carbonate, bicarbonate contain carbon, but they but they are inorganic, right? And then yes, and normal inorganic compounds are water, minerals, and gases. Okay, right. So, and then there are some organic compounds. You learned all these four here: carbohydrate, protein, lipids, and nucleic acids. Now we are going to talk about that. So there are some organic compounds which build up the living body or any living matter known as biomolecules. So there are four types of biomolecules: carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids, right? So these biomolecules are the organic compounds which build up our body, right? Body or any living matter, right? So carbohydrate, proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, we consider as biomolecules. So let's go with carbohydrates. So carbohydrate is the most abundant organic compound on earth, right? This present in food like potato, sweet potato, grains, sugar, and flour. And the main elemental composition is carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Here you all can get these three elements from this term, like carbo means carbon, right? Hydrogen means hydrogen, right? There's this O here which represent oxygen. Just a trick to memorize this. Memorize these three elements. So yeah, it's a simple one. And here hydrogen and oxygen combined in 2:1 ratio, and the common formula is this, right? This formula is really important for you all. Just memorize it. And these are very, very simple and very easy points. These are, but they're really important. You all have to remember that. Okay, carbohydrates we can classify into three groups, like according to the way they are formed, right? So carbohydrates we divide into monosaccharide, disaccharide, polysaccharides. We classify this into three groups according to the way they are formed. Okay, they have structural differences. So in monosaccharides, we give three examples as glucose, fructose, and galactose. In disaccharides, we give three examples: maltose, sucrose, and lactose. So in polysaccharides, we give three examples: starch, cellulose, and glycogen. Okay, let's go through monosaccharide. So y'all can see the formula of, so y'all can see the formula of monosaccharides. This is the formula. And in monosaccharides, structural unit is carbohydrates. Sorry. So the structural unit of carbohydrate is monosaccharides, and they are commonly known as simple sugars. And the features, they are crystal shape, water soluble, sweet in taste. And examples are glucose, fructose, and galactose. These are not important for y'all. I just inserted. I thought it's a nice picture, and y'all can get some idea with that. I think monosaccharides you can remember easily because glucose, it's very familiar for y'all. Y'all can easily dissolve that in water. Y'all can easily dissolve glucose in water, and they are crystal shape. You'll know that it's like a powder, but that powder is made up of like, I don't know, millions of teeny tiny particles of this glucose. So they are water soluble and they're really sweet in taste, right? I don't need to tell you about that. You all know what is glucose. So fructose and galactose is also same because they are monosaccharides. And this is the formula C6H12 or 6. And here we go. Okay, so glucose. Glucose can be found in ripened fruits and bee honey. I have given you some pictures, bee honey and ripened fruits. So the features are end product formed during hydrolysis of all starchy food, and plants produce glucose during photosynthesis. They are really important. You all have to memorize it. You all will know what is starch in the latter part of the lesson soon, very soon. And fructose are also present in ripened fruit, bee honey, pumpkin, and carrot. Here, like fructose, you call it as fruit sugar, right? Because they form during ripening of fruits, and this can be considered as the sweetest sugar. Just consider a very tasty mango. Like I know y'all can get the taste inside your mouth. It's really tasty, and you know how tasty is mangoes. So that is called fruit sugar. Fructose means fruit sugar, and it contains in ripened fruits, and that is called the sweetest sugar, right? Glucose is also sweet, but not like this. This is sweetest. And galactose. So galactose, normally lactose intolerant, y'all may have heard of that. So that means it always combines with milk, dairy products. So galactose are present in dairy products, in all these dairy products. And the features, the end product formed during hydrolysis of lactose, and there's no sweet in taste. Like in milk, when you drink raw milk, there's no any taste, right? You all have to put sugar and taste it. So galactose do not have any sweet taste, right? And then disaccharides. So C12, H22, O11. And during this process, a water molecule is released, right? You all can see this monosaccharide plus monosaccharide, disaccharide plus water molecule. In the same way, relevant monosaccharide can be obtained by hydrolyzing disaccharide. So disaccharides are sweet in taste, and they are also water-soluble crystals. And two monosaccharides are joined to form a disaccharide. Maltose, lactose, and sucrose are some examples for disaccharide. So here y'all can see monosaccharide plus monosaccharides. That's why here we have put two C6H12 or 6. I think I think y'all can remember the structure of monosaccharide is C6H12 or 6. So two monosaccharides means two C6, C6H12 or 6 molecules. And then it forms C12H22O11 plus H2O, a water molecule released. So disaccharide means disaccharide always two monosaccharides are joined together and form a disaccharide. It's like this. Now just consider, now here's a one monosaccharide structure and here's another one. So this connects with, here's the bond, and this connects with this one, and this is a full, since I don't have many hands, like this is the full structure of a disaccharide, right? Hope you all can understand. This is one structure of monosaccharide, this is another structure of monosaccharide, and here they get bonded and it forms a full disaccharide structure. Okay. So examples for disaccharides are maltose, lactose, and sucrose. So maltose present in, this is the first example, maltose. So they are present in germinating seeds and features like union of two glucose molecules forms a maltose molecule, and it also releases a water molecule, and this is an intermediate product of starch hydrolysis. Y'all have to memorize this. And sucrose. Sucrose can be found in white sugar, brown sugar, sugar cane, beetroot, and in some fruits and in phloem sap of trees, right? So like these are very familiar to you all: beetroot, brown sugar, white sugar. We use them in day-to-day life. So union of a glucose molecule and a fructose molecule forms a sucrose molecule, and in this reaction also a water molecule is released. And lactose. So I hope you all can remember galactose. So lactose can also be found in dairy products, and union of a glucose molecule with a galactose molecule forms a lactose molecule. Also it releases a water molecule, and this is the only sugar that is absent in plants. This is not present in plants. Lactose do not contain in plants, and this sugar is not sweet as sucrose. We learned galactose is also not sweet. So percentage of lactose in cow's milk 4% to 6%. Percentage of lactose in human milk is 6% to 7%. Okay, now we are in polysaccharides. You can see the formula C6H10 and O5. So the polymerization of a large number of monosaccharides form a polysaccharide molecule. Hydrolysis of polysaccharide results relevant monosaccharides. Structural unit of cellulose, starch, and glycogen is glucose, and their properties are different according to the number of glucose molecules and how they have bonded with each other, right? Some examples for polysaccharides are cellulose, starch, and glycogen. So polymerization of a large number of monosaccharides. You know what is polymerization? Right? Polymerization means a gathering of units, right? It's like this. Let me show you an example. It's like this. Now I'll get some clips and okay. Right, it's like this. You think it like this. So you think this is a one monosaccharide structure, right? And here's another one. And now this bonds with this monosaccharide structure. Now you know what is this. This is a disaccharide, right? And again, here it comes another monosaccharide structure, and it bonds with this, and another monosaccharide structure comes here and bonded with this, and now it's a polymer, right? This is called polymerization of a large number of monosaccharides form a polysaccharide molecule, right? When it forms a network, right? It's a network actually, gathering of units, and it forms a network that is called polymerization. So polymerization of a large number of monosaccharides form a polysaccharide molecule, right? Just a simple example. So the examples for polysaccharides are cellulose, starch, and glycogen, and how the properties are getting different according to the number of glucose molecules and how they are bonded with each other, right? So these polysaccharides are insoluble in normal water and they do not exist as crystals, right? Let me show you this. Maybe you all can see. Now starch, you all can see the structure is kind of different with from glycogen, and the cellulose structure is totally different from both of them. So, so I think you all can understand these 2 points according to the number of glucose molecules and how they are bonded with each other, right? Okay, and then the next one, okay, cellulose. So cellulose can be found in cell walls of plant cells and in fibers. So we can see them in plant cell walls and then in fibers. So in coconut fibers, like that. So the features are not digested in human digestive system and helps to avoid constipation. That's why your moms are asking you to eat, kohila and belly, to drink belly, because that fiber is really good for you, and it always avoid constipation. It's really good for passing tools. So yeah, they are not digesting in your digestive system, and it's avoid constipation, right? It's a really good component for our body. And then starch. Starch is present in grains, yams, jack and breadfruit, right? Here are some grains, and then jackfruit, and some yams, right? Sweet potato. So features are the type of carbohydrate that stores in plants, right? Y'all can see like jackfruit. It's a product of a plant and it stores starch, right? Sweet potato, it stores starch. And glycogen. Glycogen is present in animal liver and muscles. So maybe you all can see animal muscles. So features are type of carbohydrate that stores in animal body is glycogen. And here we go. Significance of carbohydrates as an energy source, as a storage compound, and as a structural component in plant cell walls, and as a constituent of nucleic acid, right? So as an energy source, this is a kind of main energy source. Lipids and protein is also they are also the sources of energy, but carbohydrate is something important. And then as a storage compound, you also in my previous slide, jackfruit, sweet potato, they are the it contains as a storage compound, starch, and as a structural component in plant cell wall, and as a constituent of nucleic acid. So, tests to identify carbohydrates. Starch test. Hope you all can see the color. I don't think you all can see the color properly, but small amount of food is obtained and grind well with water, right? And then add a drop of iodine solution to the above grinded food, and then you all will get purplish blue color, right? As you all can see in the figure, but I don't think it will be clear for you all. It's very dark. So just keep in mind the color because it's really important. Purplish blue color. And then test for glucose. Obtain a solution of glucose into a test tube, and then you have to add a few drops of Benedict solution into the above solution, and then immerse the above solution in a water bath and heat it, and the color change as follows: blue, and then to green, and then green yellow, and then to orange, and finally brick red. Okay. Yep. And then test for sucrose. So you have to obtain a sucrose solution into the test tube. First we'll go through this and then add a few drops of Benedict solution into the sucrose solution and immerse the test tube in a water bath and heat it, but you can't see any color change. You have to add a few drops of dilute sulfuric acid into the freshly prepared sucrose solution and then add the Benedict solution, and color change as blue, green, green, yellow, orange, and brick red. Right. And here we come to proteins. Hope you all can understand everything which we learned in carbohydrates. If you all have any question, you all can ask, and you all can actually you all can put a comment below. Our team is ready to answer for you all. Okay, let's go to proteins. So it's an essential constituent in all living beings, proteins, and it contains carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen always. And sometimes sulfur can also be present, right? Sometimes. And 17% of the mature human body is composed of proteins, and it's a complex molecule made up of polymerized amino acids. So now we all know what is polymerization, and it's like this. If you take this clip as amino acid, y'all can take this as a protein, right? So one amino acid connects to this amino acid, connects to this amino acid. So polymerized, it has polymerized and made a whole protein structure. So meat, fish, egg whites, cereals are some food rich with proteins. Actually, if you're a vegan, you all can take cereals like chickpeas. What else? Hope you all know, right? Soya beans are great, right? Yeah. And extra knowledge thing, I thought this is kind of important for y'all. That's why I included this. Otherwise, I didn't include much extra knowledge things into this presentation. So all proteins present in organisms, from bacteria to human, are made up of 20 different amino acids combined in different sequences, right? So this is the protein, this is the amino acid structure of amino acid. So you all can see carboxyl group, and then the hydrogen group, and then the amino group, and this is the side chain, that means R. So there are 20 different amino acids, and this is the simplest amino acid, glycine, right? So in here, you can see an hydrogen instead of R, right? So some amino acids are not synthesized in our body. Therefore, we have to take it from outside with food, especially. They are known as essential amino acids. Okay, here we go. So proteins present in muscles as myosin and actin. Okay, maybe you all have seen some guys with huge biceps. So in that biceps, they contain, they have popped up their muscles. So in those muscles, you all can see myosin and actin. Not see, I mean, it contains myosin and actin. So proteins present in bones as oosin, proteins present in red blood cells as hemoglobin, right? Heme, you all know what is heme. Heme means iron. That's why you all smell something rusty when it start bleeding. So proteins present in hairs, keratin. It also present in our nails. Proteins present in leguminous food. Leguminous. Do you know what is leguminous? All these soya beans, peanuts, what else? Chickpeas, beans, lentils are leguminous plants. Proteins present in wheat as gluten, and proteins present in egg white as albumin. So the significance of proteins, so we can take it as an energy source to make a structural component, and as enzymes, and as hormones, as antibiotics. Okay, so as an energy source, proteins are really important because other than carbohydrates and lipids, protein is also an important energy source. And to make a structural component, that means proteins we can take it as structural component of cell membranes, hairs, nails, and in feathers, right? It's containing keratin protein. And as enzymes, so all the biochemical reactions taking place in our living body is catalyzed by enzymes, right? So these enzymes are proteins. And as hormones, you all can give you an example, peptide. Hormones we are using in coordination and homeostasis are proteins. And as antibiotics, like, have you all heard antibodies, forming antibodies, right? So, and as antibodies, so y'all have heard of antibiotics. Antibiotics for all these cough and something like that. So these antibiotics are coming from antibodies. So antibodies are producing by our body to protect our body from all these bacteria and all these viruses, right? All right. Why it's not? Okay. Sorry. So, tests to identify proteins. So the Burette test, you have to make a solution by grinding dal or egg yolk and then put it into the test tube and add extra amount of sodium hydroxide, NaOH, and the few drops of copper sulfate into the mixture, and the color changes purple color, right? These are very simple stuff, but you all have to remember this. they can ask these for your structured questions. So enzymes. Enzymes means they are special proteins, organic catalysts that are produced within the organisms to increase the rate of biochemical reactions are called enzymes, right? So catalyst means that means we always change the constituent, right? We always change something, cause of change, right? Catalyst means cause of change, right? So sucrose converts to glucose, right? Sucrose has to be heated with the dilute acid, but the enzyme present in our digestive system do the same process at the lower temperature, right? So activity of enzymes is to catalyze the biochemical reaction, right? Enzymes are always change something to something, right? That's why we call it as organic catalysts. Okay, catalyst means a cause of change. That's why. So lipids. In lipids, fats and oil belong to this group, and the lipids which are existing as solids in room temperature are called fat, and liquids are called oils. So if you all have seen any YouTube videos of dead bodies, cutting dead bodies, you all may have seen when they take off our skin, there's this yellow color layer under our skin that is called fat. They're not dripping off like water or something. It's not liquid, but it's still there as a layer, right? And that is yellow in color. That is fat, right? Liquids means coconut oil, olive oil, sesame oil, ginger oil, right? So they're liquids. Oils means liquids. Fat, they are solids in room temperature. So these fats always contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen as constituent elements, almost like carbohydrate, right? Yes. So features are it contains much less oxygen than carbohydrates, and it's insoluble in polar solvents. That means lipids like oil is insoluble in water, right? Water is polar. Water is a polar solvent. So oil never dissolves in water. So that's why it's called insoluble in polar solvents and soluble in organic solvents. So some examples for lipids are gingerly, butter, coconut, and margarine. I have given you all some pictures of gingerly, butter, and coconut. Here we go. Significance of lipids as an energy source to form different structural components for conservation of water, to maintain the body temperature, to protect internal body organs, and to synthesize some hormones. So as an energy source, that means more like carbohydrates and proteins, lipids are also act as energy source. It's like this. When y'all watch YouTube, y'all can see there are different types of exercises for our different body parts, right? There are specific types of exercises to reduce our belly, to reduce our thigh fat, to reduce our arm fat, like that, right? So just think, now we do some types of exercises to reduce the fat in our arms, right? To reduce the fatty arms, to reduce the fat in our arms. Okay. So when we do that type of exercises, y'all will see, right? Not y'all will see actually. y'all can see the arm, the fatness of that fatness of your arm getting reduced, right? That means that lipid is burning and giving you the energy to do that exercise, right? That's why you all do some particular type of exercises to particular areas, okay? And to form different structural components. Lipids is the one of most important compounds in cell membrane, right? Like phospholipids, glycolipids, and cholesterol. And for conservation of water, in each and every plant leaf, there is a layer called cutin. The plants are living in xerophytic environment. The cutin layer is kind of thick, right? That is to conservation of water. That cutin layer is present in those plant leaves to avoid the evaporation of water, right? And maybe all have seen a glistening layer of insects, right? That is a wax layer. It is there to avoid the desiccation and protect the water inside them. Desiccation means evaporation or the removal of the moisture. Okay, so to maintain the body temperature, now we are warm-blooded mammals, and birds are also warm-blooded. So we possess a hypodermal fat layer which acts as a thermal insulator, and it helps us to maintain the body temperature, right? And then to protect internal body organs, like in our organs, there is, I told you, like there is always a fat layer underneath our skin. It always absorbs shocks, right? Now, just think if your head hits somewhere, it always absorbs that shock. There is a lipid layer under your skull, so it always absorbs that shock. So to synthesize some hormones of vertebrates like estrogen, testosterone, and cortisone are lipid compounds. Tests to identify lipids, Sudan test. You have to add some amount of gingerly oil or coconut oil into a test tube, and then add Sudan reagent into the oil. The reaction is as follows: red fat globules. And extra knowledge. So fatty acids divide into two groups, as unsaturated fatty acids and saturated fatty acids. Actually, unsaturated means you all can see some double bonds between carbon, right? Several double bonds between carbon atoms. That is called unsaturated fatty acids. And these exist as liquids in the room temperature. As an example, oleic acid. Saturated fatty acids means that there are no double bonds between carbon atoms, only single bonds, and these are solids or semi-solids at room temperature. Palm oil, coconut oil are saturated fatty acids. And then nucleic acid, right? So the most important molecule out of the main biomolecules living in matter, because these causes our genetics, right? And it's a linear polymer made out of nucleotides, which contains carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus. And there are two types of nucleic acids, DNA and RNA. DNA stands for deoxy ribo nucleic acid, and RNA stands for ribonucleic acid. So DNA, the structural unit of deoxy ribo nucleotide, deoxyribonucleotide is the structural unit of DNA, and DNA transfers genetic characteristics from generation to generation. And then RNA is structural unit of, and then ribonucleotide is the structural unit of RNA, and protein synthesis is the function of RNA. Protein synthesis is kind of complex process. You all will learn when you go to upgrades. If you all if you all hope to do biology at your A levels, you all will learn that. This is nucleotide, right? This is the nucleotide, like amino acid, like this is the nucleotide. So it contains a nitrogenous base and then pentose sugar group. It's a pentagon, it's a pentose sugar, and then phosphate group. Okay, this is the three components. By gathering these components, it forms a nucleotide. And significance of nucleotides: important in storage of genetic information of organisms, and important in transferring genetic information from generation to generation, and important in protein synthesis, important in controlling all cellular activities in a cell, important in storing genetic information of some viruses. Normally, viruses contain both RNA and DNA. Now, I don't know whether this is true or not, but I have heard this coronavirus. In this coronavirus, we can't, the reason we can't find any accurate vaccine is because this RNA contains in the virus get always change, right? I don't know whether it's true or not, but I heard something like that. And it's important in evolution. Mutations of genetics always causes evolution. So this is the end of today's lesson, and it's to be continued because I have to do up to vitamins. So hope you all understood everything. I don't know. If you all have any questions, just comment below. Our team is ready to answer for you all. So study well and stay safe. So thank you very much. And yeah, this is the end.